What's going on, Kicks Gang? It's HEATKICKZ. Heat Kicks back with another dope sneaker unboxing, and I'm super excited to be bringing you this sneaker, the second sneaker of the pair. If you guys are new to the channel and you like what you've been seeing, go ahead and check the subscribe button down at the bottom of the screen. And with that, let's go ahead and get right into it. We have the second colorway of the Bape Ultraboost 4.0. As you guys may have seen from my previous video, I was able to pick up the black and gray colorway of the Bape Ultraboost. I was not able to get either pair for retail, so like I said, I did have to go back and pay resale. I got the black pair for about $25 under $400, and I got this pair for about $25 over $400, and they both came out to $400. The resale prices were around $375 to $400, but as you guys know, recently StockX and GoApp have added additional tax. There's extra shipping fees and stuff like that. So all in all, for both pairs, it actually came out to $801. Honestly, this is definitely one of my bigger purchases. I usually won't go and spend $400 on a single sneaker, let alone getting both of the colorways and spending $800. But I've actually been cutting out on getting every single sneaker release and then saving up some money and actually getting some of the ones that I really like. Let's go ahead and get into the packaging. Nothing on the top of the box. We've got an all black top. And coming around to the side, we have that sizing and barcode sticker. We've got the Adidas logo here on the top, and then on the back we also have the additional Adidas Trefoil logo and the Bathing Ape logo and branding here on the side. And then flipping it around to the lateral side, it's got the Adidas Trefoil logo once again, and then it says down below in 3 different languages the brand with the 3 stripes. As you guys can see, the box did get a little banged up in shipping, and one of the things I have to say, probably the only downside to this entire release, is the outer packaging. For the most part, the Adidas Ultraboost boxes or packaging that they usually come in is not very sturdy to begin with, but being that this was like a super rare limited like dope collab, I thought they would put them in a better or more protective box just to kind of keep the shoes on the inside a little bit more protected, but that wasn't the case. But anyways, I didn't get these for resale. I got them for me and for my collection, and as you guys know, when it comes to comfort, I absolutely love my Ultraboost. It's definitely my favorite sneaker when it comes to comfort. And then being a veteran, I really like that camo pattern. And then of course, anytime you put Bape or Bape camo on anything, it always tends to look super dope. Most of you guys are probably familiar or have seen the previous releases from Bathing Ape. They did another release about a month and a half ago where they did another NMD and a Pod S 3.1, and honestly, I was actually interested in those as well. They did the black and gray camo on one, and then they did a white and split to black camo on the Pod S 3.1, and honestly, I'm really glad that I held out. I knew the Ultraboosts were coming, but they really didn't have a hard date for them. I'm glad I held on because ultimately these were the pairs that I really wanted. And then here we have the StockX sticker, and then of course the little signature on the back. They don't actually do the signature like they used to, it's just the general card. And now they send the receipt stickers that have the order number, the actual sneaker, and the price. I'm not sure which I like better. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, you know, we can't really tell what they're doing as far as looking at the shoe. So whether they send me a card that's signed or they send me a receipt, it's pretty much the same thing. We're really just kind of going on their word. And then we got this stock card in about 10 to 15 different languages here. As you guys can see, it's got everything from English to Chinese, probably Japanese. Definitely, I'm sure there's a Japanese logo on there considering it is from Bape. For those of you guys that don't know, Bape is actually out of Japan, and they all say the same thing. But what it says is this particular pair is a special knitting process that creates a one-of-a-kind prime knit upper for every pair, ensuring that nobody else has the same exact pair as you. And that's actually really dope, and I've done a little bit of research on that, and that actually is the case. On the NMDs, they had actually done like an ironing or a heat press to put that camo Bape print on the NMDs, where this particular pair, they did it in actual knitting, which means that that pattern's not going to come off at any point in time, and it just looks a lot more crisp and clean. One additional thing I wanted to show you real quick about the packaging is the Bathing Ape paper that we have on the inside. Oh, and then of course got another StockX sticker. I probably have about 100 of those now from all the purchases. Let me go ahead and grab these out of the box, and bang bang, the Bape Adidas Ultraboost 4.0 in the brown, black, and green camo colorway. Honestly, I'm so happy to finally have this. And as you guys probably saw from my previous video, I got the black and gray version of this as well. I actually purchased them right around the same time, probably within a couple days of each other. I was just trying to get the exact prices that I was looking for. And one of the things I want to mention before I forget, that little card that I was just showing you guys talking about the knit and how each individual pattern is different. For the most part, yeah, you're gonna have that all over Bape pattern, but looking at it, not everything is gonna be in the exact same place, which is really dope, because if I'm standing next to somebody else that has this exact same pair, they're not gonna be spot on exactly the same. And the chances of me and somebody else both having the same exact super hype sneaker on our foot is actually really kind of rare. In my circle of friends, I'm really the only person that's really big into sneakers, so it would have to be some random person, and the chances of me having it on and them having it on, anyways, enough said. It's pretty much just going to be me wearing the sneaker. But anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the review. Starting off with the bottom like we usually do, we've got that Continental outsole rubber, we've got that Continental branding here in that yellowish orange color. And for those of you guys that don't know a little bit of the history of the Ultraboost originally came with a regular rubber outsole. They actually went to the Continental Rubber Company, the guys that make the Continental tires, and asked them to make the outsole for the Ultraboost, which was a really big move because honestly it added a ton of durability and it made the traction really good. Like I always tell you guys, I go for the comfort, but in addition to that, I also want a sneaker that's gonna have a little bit of arch support, a little bit of support up in the collar, and then it's gonna have good grip on the bottom. And the Ultraboost has all of that and more. The comfort is definitely unmatched. We've got that really nice stretchy prime knit material, and we'll get into that in a minute, but this is actually different than all the prime knit that they've had on the 4.0s. And then in addition to that, we have the torsion control bar done up in metallic gold here on the bottom, and then flipping around to the lateral side, we have this additional lug that adds to that torsional control. As far as support goes, we have this really stable heel counter that's beefed up on both sides, and then on the outside we've got the Ultraboost logo done up again in that metallic gold, which I think is a really nice hit. We've got the all black or murdered out boost midsole, which I think is really dope. I actually have the Oreo 4.0s in the collection, and if you guys have seen that pair, it's kind of hard to tell unless you compare it to another shoe that's got a black midsole. But I have several colorways of the triple black, and on the triple black they actually have that true black midsole. On the Oreo colorway, it's actually more of an anthracite or a charcoal color, which for that specific model looks really dope, but on something like this it just wouldn't look right. And they've done that on a few models, but I think they've learned and they took those cues and they've been putting that into all their future models, especially this one. This is one you really didn't want to mess up on. The original pictures we got actually showed the 3 stripes in the caging on the side as gold, but when they released, they came out with the white paneling, and honestly I don't mind it one bit. I like the contrast between that dope Bape camo, the white 3-stripe caging, and then that blacked out midsole. Gold would have looked nice too, but I think it would have been a little too close to the camo. I think this breaks it up with 3 very different color patterns. Getting a little closer so that you guys can see the details and the prime knit up close. As always, we've got that really nice stretchy prime knit, but if you guys have any pairs of the 4.0, you can see that the structure of the knit is actually different. The spacing between each individual knit is definitely tightly packed. As you guys can see on the 4.0 model, it's got a different pattern and the spacing seems to be a little bit different. You would think that the breathability on the original 4.0 pattern would be better than this one, but honestly I don't think it makes a difference. And the cool thing about actually doing the Bape logo and the Bape camo in the knit is that you're not going to have any issues with the pattern coming off or any damage to the pattern on the top. For the Bape NMDs, they actually did a heat press or iron on method for the pattern. And honestly, that's something that can like scratch off. You can actually have areas of the knit where pieces of that will actually chip off. It's like anything. It's like any shirt that you have where they iron on or they heat press a logo on. If you chip away at that, you can chip away at that logo, right? Well, that's the same thing with the sneaker. But by going ahead and doing it inside the knit, your pattern is going to stay intact for the entire life of the shoe. And honestly, I think it looks way better. We've got the Bathing Ape logo here on the front, and then we've kind of got a little bit of the Bathing Ape logo here on the tip of the toe box. Coming up to the tongue, we've got the Bathing Ape in the American flag colorway, and then on the insole we have the matching Bathing Ape logo as well in that American flag colorway. And that's something that's really dope. Looking at both sides of the shoe, I always talk about sneakers being monochromatic or being the same from right to left. This is not one of those, and although looking at them really quick it seems like both of the silhouettes are exactly the same, but as you can see there is that difference. Like I showed you guys, on the right side we've got the Bathing Ape logo in the American flag colorway, and then again on the inside of the outsole, and then on the left side we've got that metallic gold Adidas trefoil logo, and then again that same Adidas trefoil logo on the inside. And obviously you guys can see that the insole matches the upper, which I think is really dope. We go ahead and pull the insole out real quick. I just wanted to go ahead and show you the insole for authentication purposes really quick, and really just to give you guys a more close-up look at the insole itself. As you guys can see, if you're looking at this as far as authentication purposes go, you can see we've got that nice bold pattern on the insole. It's got that little pixelated feel to it, and that's just the way that the material is set up. We've got the Bathing Ape logo a couple times throughout the insole, and then looking at the logo you can tell that the logo is perfectly centered and it looks really crisp. If you guys get fake pairs, a lot of times the insoles will be messed up, the writing won't be as crisp, and for the most part all the Ultra Boosts have the same type of insole. I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a really close-up look really quick just so you could see the texture and the pattern that is intended to be on the bottom. Pretty much any 4.0 is going to be the same. You're going to have that little sizing number, and if you're buying a sneaker, usually like if you buy a size 12 it'll say 11.5 on top. It's usually a half size smaller, and each little square on the bottom of the insole is going to have a little nipple on it, and then of course we've got the Adidas logo with the nipple on each side. Each time that they release a new silhouette they do change a couple things up here and there just to keep the people that are making these fakes on their toes. And let me go ahead and give you guys a quick look at the inside under the insole. As you guys can see, the boost is actually dyed. That's why it kind of has that gray color. Of course you're going to have that little boost window that we always have. Looking at the bottom side of the boost you can see those little circles with the 3 stripes, and if you look closely at the inside as well you'll see that same kind of design. That's another thing to look for when looking at the authentication process. And then of course you want to look at the stitching that goes all the way around the sneaker. Everything should be uniform. As you can see, the stitching is really tightly done. This collar in the back is actually really stiff, so looking at it from the side it's not just gonna flop over like that. It's actually pretty rigid and it's gonna bounce back when you let it go. I've seen a bunch of the fakes online. The knit on top is definitely faded. The designs don't look as crisp. You can just tell. I mean, I can tell. I know it's really hard for people starting out, and that's why for some of you new guys I do add some of these authentication pieces to the sneaker just to help you out. Somebody like myself, I've actually been collecting for a while. It's definitely a lot easier for me. But anyways, let me go ahead and give you a couple more really quick details on the shoe. Of course we've got the black laces. No extra laces came with the shoe, but again, like usual, I think the black laces are really the only lace that I would want on these. Maybe like a pair of wax gold laces or even leather gold laces would look kind of dope, but then honestly you would miss out on the eyelets, and I really don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. I'm hoping that this will zoom in and focus and I can get you guys that right angle, but on the right side it says a Bathing Ape, and then on the other side it's a Bathing Ape in Japanese as well. Like I said, I'm really not sure if you guys are going to be able to see that. I'm hoping that that's focusing in for you guys, but just know if you can't see that, it's the black laces with the white tips, and it's it's got the Bathing Ape logo on there as well. And the last two things I want to mention real quick is behind the logo on each side, we have that 3M hit. And then another thing I really wanted to mention is the padding. As you guys can see, the stitching that comes along here, there is the padding that we get with all the Ultra Boosts on the side. And I don't know if it's because this is like a Bape collab or whatever, but the padding around the collar just feels super beefed up, and the knit feels so comfortable. It seems even more stretchy than the original 4.0, and honestly I think these are actually going to be more comfortable than the typical 4.0. A lot of people have asked me which silhouette I like better, this one or the black and gray pair, and although they're both very close and both very dope silhouettes, I have to say this is my favorite colorway. I'm a little partial to it because I was in the military, and this is very similar to the US Army's military camo, but the black and gray model is really sleek and is going to be a lot easier to rock with pretty much anything. And from what I've heard, stock numbers were actually a lot lower on the black and gray pair, but right now it seems like the black and gray pair is actually going for a little bit less. So it really just goes to show you stock numbers don't always matter. It's really a combination of supply and demand, not just supply. And as always, I'm super excited to be adding these to the collection, and of course super excited to be completing the set. And with that, I'll go ahead and wrap up the video. And like I always say, if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and smash that notification bell so you guys can get all my videos on demand. And if you guys have been with me from the beginning, thank you for all your support. It's Heat Kicks. I'm out.